Today, we are launching United Against Hate Week. This campaign begins today and runs until December 6th, the end of the week. I want to thank our many partners, the LA County Board of Supervisors, the LA Care Health Plan, Blue Shield Promise, LA County Office of Education, LA Area Chamber of Commerce, the California Endowment, the City of Los Angeles, and many other cities. In fact, we have over 25 cities that have endorsed United Against Hate Week. Our goal this week is to bring communities together to promote inclusion, equity, and safety. United Against Hate is part of the LA versus Hate initiative we just launched over the summer months to unite our communities against hate. Let me just say it again. LA versus Hate has become a movement with millions of people viewing and sharing content to take a stand against hate. I'm extremely proud of our partnership with 211. In fact, together, we've established the first dedicated county hotline in the nation to report acts of hate. I'm also proud of our partnership with many community-based organizations that are providing vital support to victims of hate so they know that they are not alone, so they know that they can access critical resources, assistance, and support in times of crisis. Now, we know this has been a tough year in many ways, but I'm reminded today of a quote from Martin Luther King, who said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that." Only this week, let's, as we come together to bring more love, acceptance, and peace to our residents and communities, I'd like to make an invitation to all of you. Would you please go to laversushate.org and print this "I Stand Against Hate Because" sign. Write something meaningful about why you are standing up against hate. This is mine. This is my sign. There are also many other graphics you can easily download and share from the LA versus Hate website. We're planning a lot of events throughout the week, including art installations, workshops, and screenings. So please go to LA versus Hate website to learn more.
As also mentioned, we know that the time of anxiety, fear. We know that the pandemic and the conflict that we've experienced can lead to scapegoating at times. It can lead to blaming of groups based on prejudice and stereotypes. We know that the stats are telling us that, unfortunately, hate is at a high level, not just here in LA County, but in our region, in the state, and nationally. We thought it was so important that we bring together the millions of residents here in Los Angeles County who we know are standing together against hate. We are simply giving voice and a path for people to take action to push back against the hate and bigotry that we have all seen and experienced. We know that there's been a higher level of targeting of Asian Americans, of immigrants, of people of color, of LGBT communities, of transgender women. We just recently released a hate crime report, which documents all of that. And at the same time, we know that there are people who are standing up with courage against this kind of people like Ms. Hong Lee, who, after experiencing it, went online to share her story despite being traumatized by an incident of hate. Her words helped to bring forward so many others who had experienced the same level of hate and hostility from the same person. which led to a police investigation into the hate crimes that he had committed. This is the kind of action of courage that we are looking to stir through this week of action, of standing up and standing together against hate. And we have a perfect way for people to take action. As Otto mentioned, laversushate.org, our website, allows people to go there to not only report acts of hate, which are very important, because we can't do anything about things unless we know them, that they're happening. Number two, it allows you to take actions big or small, to simply download a screensaver to show your commitment to taking action against hate. You can be part of a Twitter storm that's happening today. You can take part in the activities that you can learn about through our calendar of activities that are on the LA versus Hate website. We know that there are so many things that we can do to make sure that everyone is united against hate, that we are all connected to one another. You know, my mother, before she passed a few years back, was with us going to a special event to honor her. When we got out of our car here in the county, in this community, a kid rode by on a bike and yelled, "Jap, get out of here." And he yelled it at all of us. But for us, we were just confused. What is he talking about? But for my mother, she was very clear. This was an attack, a racist attack against who she was. She lived through the war. She lived through the imprisonment of over 110,000 Japanese Americans by our government during World War II. And that was the language that was used, the word. And she could do nothing but swallow it with her anger. There was no place to report it, nothing to do other than to just take it. Today, we changed that. We have a place now for anyone to report by calling 211 or going to the website. We need to hear from people, because unless we know about it, we can't bring our resources to do something about it, to support you, to offer help to those who are experiencing hate. This is something that we've heard over and over from over 700 reports of hate that have come in through our LA versus Hate reporting hotline. It is so disturbing to hear this, but at the same time, this is the week when we can come together as a county and support all of those who have had the courage to come forward, support all of those people who know that the right thing to do is to promote inclusion, respect, diversity, and push back against the hate that we have seen. So, especially appropriate coming out of the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, I want to show our gratitude for the incredibly diverse, inclusive, and beautiful, caring community that we have here. And I want to recognize particularly our partners who have been so important to standing up against hate. Partners such as Task Force, 211 LA County, Special Service for Groups, our LA versus Hate Rapid Response Network partners and supporters, and a special shout out to the Berkeley's Office of the Mayor and Not in Our Town, and especially LA Care Health Plan and CEO John Bass with us here today, LA County Office of Education and Superintendent Dr. Deborah Eduardo, who is with us today, LA Chamber of Commerce, we have Maria Salinas, who is with us here today, and of course, our City of Los Angeles, Capri Maddox, who is the director of their Office of Human Rights and Equity. I want to just close by saying that all of this is due to the support and leadership of the Board of Supervisors of LA County. Supervisor Solis, in particular, is going to be sponsoring a motion that is going to be presented tomorrow to the board to formally declare this Stand United Against Hate Week. And I want to thank her staff, and the board for all of their leadership, not just tomorrow, but for everything they've done to help us get to this point. I know that through this work, we are going to emerge an even stronger and more resilient and healthier LA County. Thank you.
So I am truly honored to be here representing the LA Area Chamber of Commerce and to join the LA County Commission on Human Relations and the LA versus Hate program to launch United Against Hate Week, beginning today and through this coming weekend. The Chamber recognizes that supporting our business members to find ways to promote the ideals of diversity, equity, and inclusion supports a thriving local economy, one that creates upward economic mobility for the county's frontline workforce. We are the Chamber that's committed to supporting business to stay abreast of changing business practices to make strategic, employee-centered investments that promote business growth and advance employees' economic opportunity. LA versus Hate, United Against Hate Week, supports the same goals and ideals that the LA Chamber has set out for itself. Last year, we adopted a vision that quite simply says, a thriving region for all. I think that vision states many of the guiding principles that have been shared about this campaign. So with these goals in mind, the Chamber joins today's diverse coalition of business and community partners united in addressing the division in our communities today. The LA versus Hate program aims to inspire people to stand up to hate in all forms, from workplace bias motivated by bullying to inequitable workplace practices. Together, LA versus Hate, United Against Hate Week promises that LA County businesses and employers can build profitable, respectful, and resilient workplaces. Over 25 cities are supporting this LA versus Hate Week. In partnership with LA Care Health Plan, Blue Shield of California Promise Health Plan, the California Endowment, KPFK Radio, and other organizations. The campaign materials that were spoken of earlier will help underscore the LA versus Hate message to residents, employees, companies, and business leaders to promote a respectful and inclusive society during this week. We at the Chamber hope that this is the beginning of opportunities to further explore topics so important to building safe, inclusive work sites today. These topics include exploring and addressing biases of all types, ensuring equitable hiring, inclusive leadership, and training of tomorrow's leaders in business. This may sound aspirational, but it's not. It's a reality that exists within the work of the Chamber today. So we join the Commission on Human Relations today to ensure that the basic needs of all our residents are to ensure a safe, inclusive, and a respectful workplace, and to celebrate all that is good with this campaign of LA versus Hate, United Against Hate Week. Thank you.
We are here to endorse and support United Against Hate Week 2020 and ready to participate in a campaign that includes a series of events that help decrease students' fears, uncertainties, and a way to assure that we can assert that every single student, every single person in LA County is welcome, regardless of where they were born, where you come from, what you believe. We know that hate is a learned behavior and that we need to make sure that every single one of our students is either unlearning or never learning that behavior, that anybody should be hated. We're going to support the convening of communities and host many virtual events, webinars, panel discussions, film screenings, art projects, community dialogues, storytelling workshops, you name it. Whatever we can do to get the message out, we're going to be doing that. We really want to encourage everyone to help get the word out. This is the opportunity to do that and to reach out to as many participants as possible. LACO will support sharing the resources and digital LA versus hate artwork with all of our school district superintendents across the county. We'll be sharing with school communities, all of our students, staff, and parents. And what a empowering thing to do is to teach everyone to choose hate over love. LA versus Hate, United Against Hate Week is a time for us to celebrate the great diversity, the strength that we have in LA County. Schools throughout the county will reflect diversity and demonstrate the power and strength it brings to our society. United Against Hate Week is an expression of unity and hope. It's that all students are enough exactly as they are. They are welcome, they are loved, they are included, and they are a centerpiece in our society. Some of the LACO programs and support that we'll be providing to our 80 school districts, which is over 1.5 million students, is to strive to ensure safe school climates. That's the foundation for our goals for all schools, making sure that bullying is never ignored and always addressed with a clear message that bullying will not be tolerated. Student engagement is essential and critical, especially through this pandemic when our schools are closed. And inclusivity is the priority for all of LACO's schools. So one example of what we're doing as part of this campaign is promoting getting information out. So sharing and providing downloadable gifts. We've got coloring books, stickers for cell phones and tables. Having students endorse LA versus Hate on their social media accounts, and just making sure every single student and parent that's a part of our 80 districts understands how critical it is that we all stand up and that we join efforts to say that hate is something that we will not tolerate in LA County. So we are very, very pleased to be a partner in this and excited to work with everyone involved. Thank you.
Hate is harmful to public health. Hate, we know, often leads to discrimination and racism, and discrimination can be a barrier to good health outcomes. Health incidents, such as the one you described, Robin, that happened to your mother entering a dinner to honor her, cause mental anguish and stress that greatly impact one's health. And of course, hate acts of physical violence take a different toll on one's health. As the largest health plan, public health plan in the United States and the largest health plan in Los Angeles County, we're responsible for the health care for 2.3 million of our Los Angeles County neighbors. Most of our members are enrolled through Medi-Cal. So they come at the bottom end of the inequality spectrum economically, and quite often in terms of education and other attributes of what make good health. And also our population is largely made up of many people of color. 44% of our members are Latino, and during this pandemic have been infected, hospitalized, and died at 4 times the rate of their white neighbors. So therefore, any discrimination that's occurring at the same time we're fighting a pandemic is unacceptable. It's very important that LA Care join the LA versus Hate in this inaugural United Against Hate Week campaign. Earlier this year, in the midst of massive social demonstrations across the country, the LA Care Board of Governors approved a statement of principles on social justice and systemic racism. And unlike many other organizational statements, this one, we had the input from representations of our membership through our regional community advisory committees, and we allowed all of our employees to chime in terms of the development of this principle. The statement has denounced systemic racism and oppression and has expressed LA Care's commitment to work toward an America that is truly fair, equitable, inclusive, and just for all. LA Care will not tolerate racism or discrimination in any form particularly as it impacts our members. We are proud to be here, lending a healthcare voice and sharing the message that Los Angeles County stands united against hate. Thank you for inviting me to participate today.
And I just wanted to say on behalf of our Mayor Garcetti and the Civil, Human Rights and Equity Department and our entire city family that we are here to announce that we also stand against hate. As you know, we have the Human Relations Commission that's with LA City, and a lot of our work parallels. And Robin, you and your team have been great partners in participating in some of our work. And you've been working with this commission actually over many years, even though our department is a very new one with the city family. I wanted to make an announcement that LA City Council, under the leadership of President Nori Martinez, our council president, have released resources just last Wednesday to help us with anti-bias training for external partners. And we'll be doing this work with some of our local community-based organizations. I do think it's unfortunate that in 2020, we needed these resources to deal with this issue that seems to be growing, and particularly over the last several years. But I'm really inspired by the fact that we have partners on this call from the business community, from LACO and others that are leaning in this space, because I know this is not just something that's happening to other people. This is happening basically to all of us. I am the mother of a child in a LACO school, and a middle schooler, no doubt. And I think it is important for us to know that our kids are seeing and learning more about hate, and not always in a positive way, because of the sentiment that is happening. And some of it has originated from the White House. But I think it is really important for us to know that regardless of which groups may be spewing hate, it is something that we are going to have to deal with for a long time, because we have young people that have been exposed to this this uptick in hate and discriminatory practices. I want to even tell you on another personal note, as a member of a large African American church here in Los Angeles, I was called I think it was the day that we were learning that President Biden actually was announced as the winner of the election. While we were absorbing that news, I'm getting a phone call from our pastor saying, please go down to the church. There's been a hate incident. Someone spray painted someone hanging from a noose on the side of my church. And I had to go to the church as a member to meet the police officers. And I just think that this is something that we're all dealing with, particularly with the API community as it relates to some of the uptick in crimes and hate incidents that happened after the start of the coronavirus. I think it's just very important to know that all communities have been hit, and we've of course had a couple of events, and Robin, you participated in one of them when I was with the city attorney's office, and you've helped us with our new department as well in this space. The other things that I wanted to say is our LGBTQ community, particularly our transgender community, has been hard hit by hate incidents, and this has to stop. We've had a number of events in this space. I know our department has participated in a few events in this space to support our Transgender Advisory Council that's also a part of our department. And we have all communities that are touched by Latino, African American, our Jewish community, our Muslim community, etc. I think it's really important to know that we've learned that love is love, but hate is hate. And so regardless of which group they're coming against, and on one day, we all need to stand up against hate, because hate anywhere is hate everywhere. And we are not going to tolerate hate in Los Angeles. And therefore, I'm pleased to stand against hate with this united partnership. And I really look forward to the work that we're going to do this week and the work we'll continue to do. So thank you so much for having us.